Toughy, huh? Sounds great.
She's a hell of an electrician. She's got
Aw.
a job. She ended up, she's at 9 Mile.
Here we go. Good evening. Welcome to the Town of Cicero Planning Board meeting. Would you please join us in the Pledge of Allegiance? Ashley, would you lead us off, please?
Sure. I pledge allegiance
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. First order of business is the approval of the November 15th minutes. Any questions or comments? Do we have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Duval,
Yes.
Mr. Abbott,
Abstain, I wasn't here.
Mrs. Hogan,
yes.
Mr. Bloss.
Yes.
And I vote yes. Minutes have been approved. We'll move on to public input. Is there anybody here that would like to address the board on any active application? Given nobody's approach, we'll close the public input and move on to the first agenda item. And this is for a site plan review for LMP operations. It's a proposed 6,000 square foot storage building for the property at 7021 Performance Drive.
Test. Doesn't like me. Good evening, Tim Coyer, Inusian Romans Land Surveying. We were here about 3 or 2 meetings ago. This is the existing Empire Crane facility over off of Taft Road and Performance Drive. If you recall, we're trying to put a 6,000 square foot storage warehouse building here on the south side of the existing main building. I'll go through the main changes and concerns that the board pointed out from the last one. We did try to improve this secondary entrance into the service yard. This is all a big gravel area where they store all their cranes. Adding a lot of landscape trees down through here and another row of trees over here to buffer and screen the proposed building. Showing how the cranes can be stored in a more uniform way. I understand that the fire department and everybody has, basically the cranes are kind of all haphazardly placed around the storage yard. Have talked to them, they have to clean this all up and make it more organized so it's easier, A, for the fire department and B, for just general servicing of everything down through here and getting through the service yard. One of the main concerns that we were trying to make sure that we addressed was the fire department's concerns as far as flow from the hydrants. One thing that I did do just in case is I slid this building 15 feet to the east. So it's within 400 feet of the hydrant that's down here, which has roughly 2,200 gallons per minute so that it can be serviced just in case. But I don't want to talk first with Steve, but Steve did talk to Paul at the fire department. And apparently this hydrant, even though it has a low GPM, would probably suffice. But we also have this fire hydrant up here, we have this fire hydrant down here, and we have a fire hydrant down here. And from this one and this one, we're within the 400 foot. So as far as that kind of concern, we should be adequate as far as where the fire hydrants are and where the building's going. There is concern about specifically the status of the gravel. We have no problem doing some core samples in there to make sure that the gravel will adhere to the 7,000 or 75,000 square foot or 75,000 pound apparatus that the fire department has going in there. But again, the existing cranes, most of them are all over that weight capacity. There's been no problems through there. The one thing I do want to point out is we did not propose a asphalt entrance in this area specifically because those cranes that are coming in there basically wreck the asphalt. I talked to him. They specifically don't allow any of the cranes on their existing asphalt up in this area because of that fact, because when they roll through with those cranes, because they're so heavy, they crack and destroy the asphalt. So they didn't want to put asphalt in that area because of that reason.
The apron, did you say, Tim?
Sorry?
Did you say the apron?
Yes, so we were going to propose the typical 30 foot of asphalt entrance, but again, he just thinks it's literally going to get crushed from the cranes coming in and out.
Do they drive onto the road?
They drive onto the road, yes.
The cranes do?
No, not the cranes, but the trucks that take the cranes in and out.
I was gonna bring up an apron. I mean, if you look at the map overview, shows when the cranes, when the traffic goes from the stone parking lot to the pavement.
Yep.
It brings dust and stone and that's why we put it there. So if they're not driving on the road, they cannot drive on the apron. Right?
I guess we would have to, I guess we could look at beefier asphalt section or something like
But
that.
why are they driving on it?
I'm sorry?
If you got a 40-foot apron, why would they even be driving on it? They're not gonna drive onto the road. They're gonna be on a pickup on the back of a truck or something.
Well, I'm just saying when the trucks come in with the cranes, the weight of it is coming through here. They have to drive on it, they have to drive on the apron of that service entrance, I guess is what I'm saying.
Well, even when they're on a flatbed, they're
Yeah,
too heavy.
it's just the weight that they say when they come through here that it tears up the asphalt in there.
Mark, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do.
I mean, I want to be reasonable, but I don't want to
Yeah.
pull stone and dirt onto the road either.
Obviously driving highways and highway are all breaking up, but it may be just because of the people break down.
But they're driving on the road too,
That's
constantly.
right.
How about concrete?
I can absolutely look at concrete. We can talk to them about concrete. I didn't think of using concrete, so I can definitely talk to the,
Worth looking into.
if the board's adamant about the asphalt / concrete, I'll make sure we come up with something that satisfies either concrete or a thicker cross section possibly to get the apron in there.
Yeah, take a look at the impact that they're having on the pavement when they drive from the parking lot to their pavement.
Okay.
That's the kind of thing we don't want happening on the road.
Sorry, I'm just writing something.
Oh, no worries.
Other than that, we did not do any landscaping around the building, basically. They think that any landscaping we put around that building in the service areas is gonna get destroyed, so that's why they didn't think it was a good idea. But otherwise, those are the changes that we made.
All set?
All set.
Mr. Duval, any questions?
Yes, so is the fire department satisfied?
I believe so, yes.
Okay,
And I'll let Steve talk. I don't want you to take my word for it, but
Yeah, generally, yes, we took care of the fire flow concerns for fire protection, water supply. The fire department provided comments to the board relative to their concern relative to the gravel and the ability to support fire apparatus. We're gonna want confirmation of, that ability. There's additional concern because they have to be able to bring aerial equipment in here because the building height is 37 feet. So that's an additional concern with that additional apparatus. So the organization was an important part of it. So they have clear access into and around the building and then adequate surface that'll support that equipment. So I have spoken with the fire department. Again, those concerns are still there that we're addressing through the site plan and then through permitting the building.
okay. Yeah, I'm good. Yeah, and that,
Do you want the testing to be part of our condition with the gravel?
With that, I'll leave that up to you. We can do that as part of the construction if your board's satisfied with that.
I'm comfortable with that if you are.
If Mark has a different opinion, I don't know how Mark feels about that.
Neil, you're fine with that? No. The fire department's comfort with the gravel, condition of the gravel and being able to hold the,
Yeah, so we'll just look for some geotechnical information, some design professional that is adequately determined that the loads, there's no voids and along the access route of the fire apparatus.
and he's got the authority to request that.
Yes. That's right.
Yeah, that's fine. Jim Osgood,
yep. I'm
Mr.
good.
Abbey?
Well, I definitely would like to see the
issue of the apron solved one way or another.
All right.
I was curious on your rendering here. 30 some feet high,
37 feet total height, yes.
is that having a second floor or just
It's just,
all the way
it's
to
all
the roof?
open. Understand these cranes are pretty large and what they,
Sure.
sometimes what they do is they want to be able to get the cranes ready to leave the site. So right now they're doing out in the open service yard and that's part of what you'll see out there. Some of the cranes are in the middle. So they're getting them ready to leave the site to go get leased or get rented or purchased.
Sure.
What they want to be able to do is do that work inside that building, just making sure everything's working, filling radiator and just making sure it's ready to go to the job site.
Sure.
And they'll extend the cranes up a little bit. So that's why they need that height.
Get it done quick before winter?
I'm sorry.
Can they get it quick enough before winter?
I hope so.
Thank you. Mrs. Hogan.
So is that exactly what the building's gonna look like in that
Yes.
blue color?
Yep.
Okay. Is there a reason why we picked that?
That was what the owner liked it. I don't know exactly why, but he saw it and he really liked it. And he wanted to go with that. Yes.
Okay. I mean, I'm not a fan of it. I don't know if you guys are. I don't know if you're gonna be able to see it from the road, but
Right.
I guess I would prefer more landscaping because it's such a big space. But I don't know if that's like for like exactly how many you're gonna have or what types of landscaping you're gonna have. Is that,
Say that one more time.
is this like exactly where you're gonna have trees and it's listed exactly how many you're gonna have?
Yep.
Okay,
Yep, we have a number and count and everything. Yes.
okay. And are they all native?
I think so. Yes.
Okay, so if you could just confirm that, but that's
Yeah.
it for me. Thank you.
Mr. Bloss.
I'm all set.
I'm all set as well. Steve.
Oh, good, thank you.
Yep. Mark. I'll make a motion for the standard seeker. Do we have a second? Do we have a question?
Yeah, I think you had a question. Was
Yeah,
it about signs?
Just quick.
Chuck.
Go ahead, Chuck.
Question, is there going to be any signage on this building? Nope. No, okay. Outside lighting, I saw,
Yes, there's some wall packs that we show. Yep.
thank you.
I made the standard seeker. Did we have a second?
Second.
Mr. Duval,
Yes.
Mr. Abbey,
Yes,
Mrs. Hogan,
Yes,
Mr. Bloss,
Yes.
and I vote yes. Seeker passes. Neil, would you propose a motion for approval, please?
Yes, approve the adoption of resolution, approve the application on LNG operation LLC program 7021, performance drive, proposed 6,000 square foot storage application. Approval of the city condition on the following one. 17 dwelling on elevation, the applicant expanding by the regard to that application. To be incorporated by reference to the state planning board. Determine the added factor project is substantially conform to the items as presented herein. Two, the applicant will provide an acceptable apron to construct of asphalt or concrete.
Mark, typical length of the apron?
30. The minimum of 30 feet.
Would somebody like to make that as a form of a
I'll
motion?
make the motion.
second,
Mr. Duval,
Yes.
Mr. Abbey,
yes,
Mrs. Hogan,
yes.
Mr. Bloss,
Yes.
and I vote yes.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Tim. Move on to the second item. This is a site plan review for a proposed pole barn at the property at 6341 Island Road. And it was the representative of the applicant.
Employer I News and Romans. I don't know if you recall, we were here again a few weeks ago. We originally had the entrance coming up through here and then a wraparound garage or gravel drive in the parking area or not parking, the access area to the back here. So with the board's comments and a lot of the concerns with that, we actually pulled the building forward quite a significant amount. We put all the parking in the front of the building. Okay, and now we're gonna utilize this existing slash redone gravel drive to get to the back of the building. Again, we're gonna use, the applicant is here if the board has any questions for Mr. Mack. Storage area to store his landscape company's equipment. He doesn't necessarily have any specific plans immediately for the front, but we do show a floor plan that, you know, he can potentially build out and utilize for his existing landscape company. I added a note about the approvals. from the town. He understands that nothing else can be put in this building until the covenant is possibly changed and approved by the town board specifically. If and when he does something different with the building in the future. But other than that, the main changes were the parking in the front here with some concrete at the actual spaces. And again, this gravel drive in the back. We do have the access easement that we're proposing for this existing gravel drive that somebody else is utilizing in the back that we discussed last time, so we don't have a problem doing that. We satisfied the fire department's concerns with the fire flow and the where the building is in relationship to the hydrant. I think that was most of the changes, and we do have we actually did a 40-foot asphalt apron here for the gravel drive. But otherwise, the changes to the building facade itself, we have 2 plans. I just want to make sure what the board thinks of these plans. One of them shows, and I don't know if Mark has them, one of them shows here we go. So this is the initial one that we have is where a masonry veneer along the base. The other option, the applicant was talking about, if you go here. So the other option that he wants to possibly do is this, just the face of the building being fully masonry and this area right here. Again, he doesn't really have a problem with either, but he thought we were talking yesterday, he thought this would look a little better. Does the board have any concerns or comments either way with the elevation?
Do you have color samples?
It's gonna be, I don't have color samples, it's gonna be a dark gray stone and a lighter gray building. So I'm trying to show the color on here, but it's literally just a charcoal gray. And I had those noted on the plan. It's a charcoal gray stone veneer and a lighter gray building siding. So I think it'll look pretty sharp with all the landscaping that we proposed.
Can you go back to the last one, Mark? I like seeing colors.
Oh.
You know that.
I mean, I can try to get some color samples if the board wants. But it's just.
That's just me,
charcoal.
but
I agree.
any thoughts on the 2 options for the elevation?
Can you show me the other option again? The one where it was so those are just the 2, either a full mason.
Yeah, like a
Or
full
not.
masonry or not, or just a half. Yes.
So is that the colors?
This is gonna be the masonry is gonna be a darker gray charcoal color. It didn't come out very good on this picture.
How dark? Like the roof?
Oh, Mr. Massey has pictures here.
Jim?
Yes, was this cold?
Masonry wrap around.
No, it's just for the.
It's just the front, so.
Yep.
I mean, this is showing this shows the wrapped around on the
Oh,
side.
right.
Yeah.
This option, we would wrap it around the office, but on the other option, we'd only do the front.
I like that they go onto the other side
Yeah.
with that one. That's the only thing. Like I like the more stone on the front, but I like that the other one wraps around on the other side.
I like the other one better. Where it wraps around.
I think so too. Okay, so everybody likes.
What about the front?
Well, they're probably trying to limit the amount of
To-
stone.
to the
That's
one
an
or the-
expense,
We were trying one or the other, to be honest with you, but Mr.
Can't have both.
Cause it's more stone, more expensive probably. I like the full front and wrap around the side half,
Yeah.
but
I
That's
agree
just
with
me.
Ashley.
I just think if you totally leave the other side, it looks unfinished and then it leaves the whole side where it just looks
Okay.
unfinished.
It's in addition to running the same color. Just a charcoal gray on the bottom side.
Same color. Same color.
Same color.
Black shutters?
Now that's the existing building.
This is an existing building that is like,
Okay,
but it'll be masonry and not.
so it'll be similar to that.
So, yeah, we probably do.
Tim, can you just show that to the rest of the team? Tim? You show that to this guy. I wanted Mark to see it. Um, so, and what I'm hearing is you'd like the full brick, but to go around the side as well.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Chucky?
Sure.
Yeah, that'll work.
So, I'm sorry. Just talking to him, he'd rather just do the front as the masonry and not do the sides, you know, specifically. He'd be able to get that all done this winter while the work's being done this winter. Again, cost is a concern, trying to wrap it all at the same time. Does the board have any comments for that?
I think what we're saying is we want to see it on the sides as well. Right?
Mhm.
Mhm.
They really want that on the sides of it. Boss. All right,
Are you done? Where are we?
yes.
We have some questions yet? Jim?
So the whole thing with the easement has been worked out, right?
Yeah, so we're willing to provide the easement when and if the neighbor needs it. We don't know who that person is in the back. We don't have any contact.
So that
for it.
hasn't been determined.
No, but we're willing to put that as a stipulation that in the future, when and if that neighbor needs that easement specifically, we're more than willing to give them that.
Okay.
I think what we're talking about here is that he's been shown on the site plan, what we're looking for is for them to actually file an easement that stubs it into a regular property. And in accordance with what they've given on the site plan, so it would be there. And you understand the condition that they would be there, so really all they're gonna have to do is file an easement with a description that gives them from the front, you know, the entrance of the property to the back of the property, to as far as that.
Okay.
Yep, and we do show that on the map.
I'm good.
Chuck?
Tim, I was curious, this, drive, is that the one that's already existing? It goes back
Part
to
of
the
it
house in the back?
Yep. So
Does that belong to, this property or to the rear
It's-
property?
So we kind of talked about this. There it is. There we go. All right. So most of like this drive actually is existing. It goes all the way back to the back of our property. It actually continues farther north to another, like some type of cabin that's way in the back.
Yes.
And it's not necessarily the next adjacent property owners. It's even farther back. It's like a landlocked piece of property that someone's utilizing. But yes, this driveway is existing through here.
And on the proposed building here, the front section says on the plan here, office space, 2,200 square feet. Did you say it was just gonna be cold storage
No,
begin
cold
with?
storage in the back,
in the back? Yes.
and office space in the front.
To be used as office to begin with.
Not right away. No, he doesn't have any.
Does that mean you need, you're gonna have facilities in that now or just sometime in the future?
When in the future, if he doesn't plan on utilizing it immediately, no. But in the future, he's allowed to utilize it for his office only for his use. That would be the only time that he can utilize that office. Okay, he can't like give it to have somebody else use it. He has to come back to the town and get the covenant changed and reapproved for somebody else to use it.
Okay, I was just thinking, electricity and gas and,
Yep, we have all the utilities going to it. Yep,
okay, great.
And plumbing.
and plumbing. Yep.
Thank you.
And so just to confirm, the apron part, is that going to be blacktop, like that
Yep.
part of it?
Yep, this is
Okay.
asphalt, this is asphalt, and this is actually concrete in here.
Okay. And so when you show us those pictures of what it looks like, that's the office is in the front, what we are talking about?
Yep.
Okay, and then that is in the back. So is there only just one entry point then
So you have an entry
through the
point.
office?
No, you have an entry point here. There's another office door right there. Okay, and then we'll have a couple, a few doors off in the warehouse area. They show on the other plan.
Okay, so just like normal doors though,
Yeah,
too?
yep,
Okay.
yep.
Okay, that's it for me. Thank you.
I'm all set.
Tim, when we talked last time, there was some discussion about the use and whether or not plows would be driven back and forth daily, or if this is just an off-season storage kind of thing.
It's an
You-
off-season, nobody. will
Everything's
be-
off-season.
Correct, yep. There's really gonna be no people at this site like at all.
So in the winter months, they'll be storing the,
Yes, so winter months they'll store the summer stuff, and the summer stuff they'll store the winter stuff. Yeah.
that's all I have. Steve?
No, just that this site is similar to the previous one we just reviewed it, that the fire department is gonna have to use some existing gravel drive that's here for access, and we'll want confirmation and verification of its adequacy to support the fire equipment.
And you'll do that on your end?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Mark? So I will make a standard seeker motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Mr. Duval?
Yes.
Mr. Abbey?
Yes.
Mrs. Hogan?
Yes,
Mr. Bloss?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Seeker passes. Neil, would you propose a motion for approval, please?
Yes, you move the adoption of a resolution approving the application known as Paul Masters, 6341 Highland Road, proposed Hobart. Color scheme, rendering and color mix. As presented by the applicant, the planning board in regards to the application to be still incorporated. The applicant is the site and board and board of approval there. According to the applicant project must substantially conform to the items presented herein. Two, the applicant shall present the planning board of the framework proposed easement for ingress and egress along the area noted on the site plan as proposed private access easement. Once approved, the applicant will cause the easement to be recorded with the Onondaga County Clerk and provide the planning board with proof of recording. No certificate of occupancy shall be issued prior to the receipt of the filed easement. Three, the masonry effect will include a full front wraparound and the site is presented by the applicant.
And would somebody like to make that a motion?
That's in the form of a motion.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Mr. Duval?
Yes.
Mr. Abbey?
Yes.
Mrs. Hogan?
yes.
Mr. Bloss?
Yes.
And I vote yes.
Thank you very much. I
Thank you,
appreciate
Tim.
it.
Have a good night.
Good.
Good luck with it.
No,
And the last agenda item is again a site plan review. This is a
I'll look up.
proposed warehouse extension for the Pepsi plant over on 8478
Mhm.
Hardy Road. Welcome back.
Thank you. Evening, Scott Freeman and Nate LaPierre from Keplinger Freeman Associates. We brought our whole team here. Thought it'd be a good opportunity for Mike Moringer, the plant manager, to introduce the project, give a brief summary. Also with us is Scott Shova. He's doing with CNS. He's the construction manager and doing the architecture for the project. Those slides are included if we want to reference those. We have Rachel Altmeyer, Luke McKinney with Ambient, and Brian Baer with CNS to assist with questions on the wetland permitting, and we have on-site wetland mitigation areas that we're working on. So Mike, let us know what that.
Hi, folks. We're back.
Good to have you back.
How are you tonight?
Good, thank you. How you doing?
We've made a lot of progress on this project. First, let me introduce myself. I'm Mike. I know Scott introduced me. I'm Mike Moringer. I'm the former general manager of Clinton's Ditch. I retired in April, but I'm kind of semi-retired because I'm staying engaged with the ditch, not only on this project, but on some other things. John Dunn is my successor, and John would have been here tonight, but he had a board dinner that was long previously planned, so he had to be at that tonight. We have a board of directors meeting tomorrow. Hopefully I'll be able to give him a good update as to where we're at with the project. This project is a big deal for Clinton's Ditch. As many of you know, we've been here for over 50 years in the Cicero community. And this would be the largest single investment the ownership would ever make in Clinton's Ditch. We've got this package kind of in 3 phases, but they'd all go concurrently. And it's a project that I think you'll all be happy to know really doesn't add any traffic to the area, but gives Clinton's Ditch a lot of flexibility. We're in the soda business and the water business, and that's what we do. And if you look at this expansion up here, you look to the south side of our property, you'll see a new parking lot. And to the east side or the west side of the property, you'll see a bulk receiving loop. Those would be among the first things done if we're able to get this project off the ground and moving. We have to build that parking lot so that we can free up space to the north part of the property for a new transportation center, truck repair facility. The importance of that truck repair facility to the ditch is huge. If you were on our property I don't know, last time any of you may have visited, but we have kind of an antiquated 2-stall garage. It was probably built, I think, in the early 1970s. Well, since then, the ditch has grown significantly. And we now have a fleet of 42 tractors and 180 trailers. And that facility is it's just obsolete, basically. So we have to farm out a lot of work, creating actually extra traffic. We really want to bring all that truck repair onto our site and make that truck repair facility that you see on the north side of the property. Once that's done, we can expand into some warehouse space on the northern side of our building. And that warehouse space is approximately 100,000 square feet. What we're currently doing, because we've really run out of space at Clinton's Ditch, we're renting 75,000 square feet in the town of DeWitt. And it's like a holding site for, miscellaneous materials and finished goods and really whatever the plant management thinks they need to move over there to be efficient in the plant. This project will allow us to get out of that warehouse, eliminate the traffic associated with that warehouse and stay right on site. So, we'd be building approximately 100,000. We'd be trading that for the 75,000 we have off site. And we build some extra space that will give us flexibility for a variety of products. We're in a business where packaging streams and different packaging options are huge. Anybody that goes into a Fast Track or a Convenient Mart, look at that back wall and you can see all the different packages that are out there. Well, that's what we do. And we're out of room. And so having that extra space right here on site will give the plant all kinds of flexibility to basically retain the nice business that we have there right now. I don't think I mentioned it, but we're, I think, up to 280 employees. I was just there last November. We settled a 5-year union contract with the United Steelworkers. We've had a great relationship with them over the years. I guess in a nutshell, this project is really important to the ownership because it helps keep us competitive, adaptable, and flexible in the business that we're in. And it's a big step for them. It's a big investment for them. I estimate it to be somewhere around $35 million when it's all said and done. So it's a huge project. And it will, I'd say, if we can bring this to fruition, 2 things will happen. They'll let me retire. All right. And right. And I think it'll lock Clinton's Ditch into the Cicero area for the foreseeable future. So I think that's a good thing. I think we've been a good citizen here. Anybody that knows some of the folks that work there, we have great paying jobs. We're among, I'd say, the highest paying for what we do in the Syracuse area, along with great penny packages. So the ownership is excited about it. I'm excited about it. I know the folks at the plant are excited about it. And this is kind of where we're at. We spent months working on different variations. We've had the DEC and the Army Corps on site for environmental issues, and really tried to listen to the feedback that we got from them. And we've arrived at this plan and working with Scott and Keplinger Freeman and folks at CNS Engineering and Ambient Environmental. I think we put together what we consider our best foot forward for a plan. And this is the plan that we put in front of the environmental group. So love to have your support on the project, and we brought the whole entourage here so they can discuss the details of some of the engineering or architectural or environmental questions you may have. Any questions for me?
Any questions?
What are the changes from the original plan set?
Not significant.
I can go over that. Probably a lot of little changes. I couldn't put my finger on specifically. We had parking to the north. We were encroaching on wetlands. We pulled it back.
Okay.
We had the back to the east that's the big truck storage area. That went a little further to the east. But when we worked with our wetlands consultants and the DEC and Army Corps, they asked that we pull it back a little bit. Stormwater changes. The stormwater changes were big, and actually what's interesting is typically in stormwater, you want to hold back the water, but when you're working on a wetland site, they actually wanted us to have a stormwater solution that actually fed the wetlands. So Brian Bear and Rachel and Luke, we had to work hand in hand with that stormwater solution. So we had to release the stormwater at a rate where it wouldn't dry out the wetlands. So we kind of did, it was a unique project, and it took a little over a year. I mean, our consultants are very quick, but Army Corps and DEC, it took several site visits for them to figure out how they would support us. And eventually, I think we have that. Maybe Brian, just one word on where we are. We've submitted. We're ready to submit to the Army Corps and DEC, but we haven't done so quite yet.
Yeah, sure. So Brian Bear, CNSN.
You come on up, please. We're streaming live and people can't hear unless you're talking to them. Yeah, thank you.
Hi, Brian Bear, CNS Engineers. So to date, we have submitted a joint application for permit to both regulatory agencies, the Army Corps and the DEC, to allow for this project as proposed. Right now, we have more than significant impacts to wetland resources. The level of which requires compensatory mitigation. And so as part of that joint application for permit, we've prepared a wetland mitigation plan consistent with both the DEC and the Army Corps requirements. And we intend to build on site about a 4.7 acre wetland area to the east of the gravel parking area. We've done a pretty detailed design of that, and it's been prepared consistent with both the DEC and the Army Corps regulations. And so all of that is into review right now, and we're just waiting to hear from them with regard to any questions that they may have.
Just one thing I'd like to add is, so what's changed about this plan? When we started this plan with Mike 2-3 years ago, the wetland lines were in one location. We took that to the Army Corps and DEC, and somebody said, get an update. So we got an update. Those lines moved. Then the laws changed. And we brought in Rachel and Luke. And they said, well, that's not quite right. We got to go out there again. So we went out again. So we designed a plan. And the DEC said, you know what? We were out there once. Let's go out there again. The lines changed again. So what's changed? It's like moving a football 3 yards this way, 1 yard that way. But our design intent was always there. Mike needs a fleet facility to the north. And he needs that warehouse addition on the north side of the building. We had to show Army Corps what it would look like without the fleet center, and they said, we like that plan. Pepsi said, we're gonna move somewhere else if we can't get that. So that's when we brought in our team, and Brian, Rachel, and Luke advised us with the wetland process. A lot of developers come in and say, we're just gonna treat wetland. It's not that simple. You have to explain financially, which Mike did. You have to explain circulation and safety, which this is a very safe plan because we've separately put employees to the south and the truck repair to the north. If you condensed everything into one driveway, you have an unsafe condition, and it just doesn't work. And Mike can talk about his safety record. It's pretty stellar. It's amazing because if you look at it now, I'm jumping around a little bit. One entrance, and if you're an employee, you have to cross where Pepsi trucks go back and forth all day. If you're a visitor, you come in where Pepsi trucks cross all day long. Everything is in one entrance. If you look at the new plan, the revised plan now, we have a materials drop-off loop, we have a separate employee entrance, and then we have the production area in the back. So safety.
That's a huge employee safety issue.
Safety is the backbone of the project. And the second, I guess, but anyway, long story short, one more last thing on wetlands. These red areas, these are the mitigation areas. So Army Corps DEC said, can you move the fleet facility? Well, these truck parking lots don't do well in that one. So if we don't have this, it doesn't work. So that's where we landed with the mitigation. So these red areas are areas that, here's another point of interest. When we submitted this the first time, there weren't wetlands here. On the first walkthrough, these were now wetlands. And then we went out there with Army Corps and the DEC wetland, the same DEC wetland person on the second visit. Well, you know what? I think there's wetlands here. So I'm just telling you, it's not an easy process, and it's been several years, and this team has been ultra conservative, totally honest. We've listened to every request and analyzed everything they asked us to analyze. And at the end of this process, Brian Bear and Luke and Rachel came up with a mitigation area over here with DC and Army Corps. And that's the big project that was submitted. And Mark, understandably so, we're not expecting comments because this is a very involved watershed here and a very involved watershed here. It takes quite a bit of analysis. So we're just here for, just to back up. You know, we want an update. We want to give you guys an update, let you know where we are. There's a lot of explaining here. If you need more architecture or what, these guys can speak to it. But
Just a comment, Scott, that southern lot that you see there, as we encountered the issues with wetlands and knew we were gonna have to address it and work with the DEC to come up with a good plan, we went out and bought that lot that's in front of, I think, the Quality Inn. I'm thinking, hey, that could be our parking lot. So we invested $800,000 to lock that lot up. And that was prior to Micron. I don't know what it would sell for now. But,
so prior to anything, Mike and Steve invested a lot of, they have a room filled with different design solutions. But they didn't have.
we didn't have that property.
Didn't have the property, didn't have the space, so I think Pepsi Group represented the state.
We have 4 franchisees, and Pepsi corporate. They all own 20% of Clinton Stitch. So we got a franchisee in Glens Falls, Geneva, New York, Newburgh, New York, and Ogdensburg, New York. So Clinton Stitch is a New York State franchise.
They looked at this location and for a while, like, you're looking at alternative sites. Other places like that. It just doesn't make sense to move this. This wants to be here. It's a challenging list, but we want to be here and want to work with you. And if you have any questions on wetlands, architecture, lighting, the site, you guys know the site pretty well. I'd like to get comments, just to let you know where we are.
I have one clarification.
Yeah.
Nathan, Scott. You asked what changed on the plan. So when we were in here last time, we submitted construction documents and a SWIP plan for that employee parking lot to the south. So the submission now incorporates everything. So we have CDs put together for the fleet facility, the building expansion, the parking lot to the east, and the parking lot to the south. And we have an additional SWIP plan for that. So that's kind of what changed. We were focused on the employee lot first. We ran into some issues with wetlands and seeker, and now we have the entire project as one giant set of construction documents.
The seeker drove it because with the initial review of this, there were not wetlands here, so it only made sense to build this part first, because you could do that without a wetland permit. Now we need a wetland permitting for the whole project, and we're running out of time. We're not running out of time, but time is of the essence. So it makes sense to do all one. It's one wetland submission, so might as well be one project. So we finished the engineering for the whole project.
Yeah, because before you talked about doing it in phases,
Right. Yeah. It's going to be. Scott, about that.
the whole thing.
It's going to be built, the whole thing. But here's the crazy thing. It's going to be built while Pepsi's being produced with no reduction. It's a very challenging design. Gonna happen.
So no phasing this time.
No.
But like Mike said, there'll be some sequencing in the project. Certain things you have to free up workspace.
We have to have.
Parking, staging.
Yeah, and part of the last comments, we had 5 parcels. That's the whole what Clinton Ditch owns. They own 5 separate parcels, and this time around, we subdivided this and combined them into one. We provided that subdivision map, but that was a comment last time. It got a little complicated with separate parcels.
So it's one parcel,
One project on one parcel.
housekeeping.
I'm good.
Did you have more presentation or you want us to go into questions?
I think we're going to question.
Give me all set.
Yeah.
Chuck?
How many main entrances are you using at the present? Well,
One.
just the one, right?
We have.
Oh.
Everybody uses it, visitors, employees. Pretty down to what, and the county, just for the record, preliminarily approved those entrances. We have to give them final engineer drawings with the pipes going underneath them and the radii. But preliminarily, we've gone back and forth. It's not enough for final engineering work, but we do have correspondence that we approve these locations. We have the site distances checked.
Having the truck entrance on the north part of the property is a nice enhancement improvement
Sure.
because it brings that traffic up.
Yeah.
It improves the line of sight if you come up this little grade and you approach it.
And what you propose now, you have 3 or 4 entrances.
But actually, the lowest entry, well, if you exclude the employee parking lot, first entrance is for bulk delivery trucks at home. That's the sweetener, the box, the products there.
CO2 is sweetener, nitrogen, bulk deliveries you see for them, big bulk stands.
That's a limited use entrance.
So the 2 of those cuts are just to make that loop. Those will be low relatively low activity.
And the county DOT reviewed our 3 curb cuts that are shown on this plan, and they have no issues with them. As well as the traffic study, they have no issues.
For Mike's point, we're totally aware of the 31.
Sure.
This is actually a reduction.
We'll have a net reduction of truck traffic.
It'll be less.
to Bring this to fruition because you eliminate all the traffic associated with outside warehouses.
That's a win.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Another new project.
Ashley?
So where are the employees currently parking?
They're parking upward, if you look just south of the transportation center, on the north part of the property, they're coming in right there, right in there.
So right before the new building?
Yes, right in there is where the existing parking
One
lot
big
is.
park.
Yeah.
The warehouse from just north of
Right.
the whole building, it's just one big rectangle. You park as a visitor, you park next to the employees and then the trucks. I'm on a cell phone, it's not a good place to park lot.
It's a little hard to see, but if you match up the wetlands on here with that one, this is the existing conditions plan. So this is the existing building, all the employees park
Right there.
All the trucks enter here, all the enter there, and all, everybody that comes onto this property enters. So that's why we provide this area.
Will there be new employees with this addition?
Well, we won't have new employees directly related to this. We'll bring some, I think we've got 6 or 8 employees at that outside warehouse that will now reside in this warehouse.
Okay. I guess and then how many acres exactly are you trying to build over the wetlands? What is that submission?
So right now, 2 acres of wetland impact. We've identified those wetlands as forestry, shrubby wetlands. We're mitigating those at a 2-to-1 ratio at a minimum, which totals 4.7 acres.
Okay.
There are some existing wetlands in our mitigation area that we sort of have to, count in our equation, but.
Where there's already building on it.
Yeah, exactly. It's already, exactly.
Gotcha.
Our latest plan, we have the 0.062 acre disturbance there, 0.1 there, 0.01, 0.21. 1.46 up there, that's the big one.
When Brian's talking about that mitigation area where building on site wetlands, that's coming back here.
Okay. And then as far as where the new building's being built, there's already been a lot of trees that were cleared in that area, correct?
How would you describe that?
I know it's
It's recently cleared, but now there's saplings of,
new.
trees that will be classified as shrubby.
Yeah.
There's a pond back there.
Early
We're not touching the pond. Right.
So I guess my concern is that there is a lot of, and I'm all about Pepsi staying here and I love big businesses, supporting that for sure. But my concern is how much are we disrupting this land, and what are we doing to preserve it? So, what trees are we making sure that we're keeping? How many trees are we replacing? Because we need to make sure that we're coming in and kind of rebuilding some areas that we're messing up. So I guess that's my general concern, because we are building over some wetlands, or at least seeking permission for it. That's my general concern.
General, that's the area.
Right.
Successional. The rest of it, we're working within the limits, and then Brian, Rachel, we're improving the wetlands here. And then, I don't know if you can see these green circles.
Mhm.
We're gonna have a series of street trees that go right along the right of way and then a little bit of the entry. It's really not a place for trees here. It's gonna be an exercise in preservation. And maybe Brian, you talk a little bit about the inspection process after this is installed.
Sure. So for one thing, both the DEC and the Army Corps are going to require that those wetlands that we create be placed into a deed restriction or protective covenant, meaning that, nothing can happen to those, going forward. So that's one thing for starters. Secondly, there's going to be a monitoring period to make sure that this wetland is exceeding the functions and values of those resources lost as a result of construction. So we have to make sure that this wetland does well over a course of 5 years. That it's not being invaded by invasive species. That it's that it's acting as wetland and it's doing all the things that wetlands should. And so that process, we have to actually go out there, check it, and make sure that it's thriving and doing well. And so that's part of the permitting process. So we'll have to make sure that if it's not meeting those criteria, if it's failing in some way, there'll be measures that we have to take to get it to where it needs to be. So through the mitigation process, you can be assured that you're getting wetlands of greater quality and double quantum of those being lost.
The other thing is the stormwater component. Currently, stormwater just washes directly into the salt, whatever's on the truck that washes off and goes on to the wetland. Our new system is inward draining, self-contained, and treated for all of this stormwater regulations. So you're going to have cooler water and water treated with some of the sediment going into our sediment basin here and our sediment catchment areas on the side. So it's going to improve it from a wetland perspective, and stormwater requires to do that as well.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, so if we could just do the most we possibly can in terms of adding more native trees and planting because of what we're taking away, especially with the sapling trees and the baby trees, which if we left them there and didn't build a building over there, then they would be new trees for our environment. And then the other, you said that the new building is mainly for truck repairs. Did I catch that?
The transportation fleet facility in the upper left-hand corner, that's going to be for truck and trailer repairs.
Okay,
And the building, the other, just south of that orange expansion is going to be warehouse and the ability to expand in the plan if we need to.
okay. And then you said you're outsourcing the truck repairs currently?
Yeah, to a variety of places. Steve
Okay.
is our transportation manager and he does that.
So the 75,000 square feet warehouse, you're only using that as warehouse. You're not currently doing repairs there.
No, it's just
Okay.
warehouse space.
Okay. So I'm assuming you're doing or going to do all the necessary safety drainage and all that comes with the truck repairs. It's like a whole
Absolutely.
nother slew of, okay,
We do have a fueling area that has to be designed.
right,
Self-containment center,
right.
We have that now on site. It will just we'll go into a new system that's even further upgraded. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. That's it. Thanks.
Just to add.
Sure.
It's the existing wetlands are they're everywhere, frag plains is everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And so not only are we, going to create a plan where we try to eliminate that from our recreation area. We're also going to, eradicate some of that, adjacent to, the mitigation area, by, getting some of those new, work. So.
So clearing the invasives and maybe adding some more,
Everything is absolutely native, and, will be a greater, function value. Than what's there for-
excellent. I think, thank you. I wish we had more people like you who are making sure that we're focusing on that, because I don't think we do enough to make sure of that, because it's the longevity. So I appreciate it. Thank you.
Mr. Bloss.
Number one, I like the idea that you got your employee, where you're gonna have your employee parking. And they're gonna have a separate entrance for everything. I think that's good. But what I really like, because I travel that road every day, Pardee Road, is you're in and out for your tractor trailers that are good, bringing product to Pepsi. It's gonna be, I think anyways, much safer operation. The trucks are driving in and they're driving out. I've seen them come in the entrance now and then have to back up, and that's not always the easiest thing to do with those semis and those big trucks. The rest of it, I think fantastic job. You've done your homework. There might be one flaw with that new building where you're gonna do some repairs. It's rather close to that coffee manufacturing company. Well, if you can't find your mechanics, that's probably where they'll be.
It's good coffee too.
It is, it's the best. No, I'm all set for that. I think you guys are doing a great job. Thank you.
Yeah, I would concur that you're doing a really nice job, and Cicero's proud to have Clinton Stitch as part of our community. And I've got friends that work there and have retired from there, and they all really like their job. So thank you for that. The county planning board, they had submitted their review, and there were 6 items on there. I know that some of it has been discussed already, but you are moving forward with those items with the county, I presume.
Not sure what items we're talking about.
Yeah, we kind of had a pause in the action, and now that we're working through the rest of the drawings, we're doing that. So there's a few items hanging out. It's the county planning board comments, county DOT comments, and then fire department coordination. So we're working through those, and we'll provide you guys with an update in response letters to it. Probably 75% of it has been addressed. We met with the fire department with Steve, I think around this time last year. And then we just did a stalemate with the wetlands, but that's under review too, so make sure we get their comments. They wanted Knox boxes at the gates. And there was some certain fire hydrant placement that we just had to double check.
Yeah, it is a gated facility.
Yep.
You want to work that out.
They wanted to review lighting as well with the highway. Right there.
Yeah, so they approved the lighting. The county DOT approved the lighting, but we need to run it by the state with the 81 too. I don't see any reason that really be.
Okay. I just want to make sure we're going forward with that.
They wanted to see the stormwater plan, SWIP plan. We have those set those off.
Great.
We want to wait on that mark. Our goal to have a say, get through the review process. 3 months, it takes 3 months, it's fine, it takes 4, that's fine, but by the spring, we're hoping to get back. Well, and get that done. But gotta be careful with them, because they're all going to want to part of
Yeah, like Mike said, this will be the first project they've done in a long time, so, all of this, yeah, and like.
Yeah, in terms of the property, it'll be the last, because this will.
Right.
Anything else would be income.
The only other point I had, I like the landscaping that you've done with the employee parking lot on the east side. And I know there's stormwater facility there. I didn't know if there was any room to put some landscaping just between that and the comfort suite facility.
We could actually plant, that's a good suggestion. We could put some river birch and some native stuff that likes the water in there. Red maple. We got some more people. Plus, didn't talk about it, but we have like a little patio. Employees can come out and have a little break area, right here, that little flat area. So put some more shade trees there.
Terrific.
Aesthetically, that little part out there is gonna be a huge upgrade from how it is today.
It's nice to see y'all's excitement as well with the project. Steve?
All set, thank you.
Yeah. Mark, anything at this point?
No.
We appreciate the update. Anything else from any of you?
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a happy holidays.
Me too.
Thank you.
That concludes our agenda items. Are we going to be discussing the outstanding items that have been hanging around for a while? I know there was some discussion on that.
I think we just need to contact the applicants.
There's some old ones.
Yeah. Those projects. If not, you know, project was
Typically, Neil, you send them letters. Is that what we're going to do?
Send them a letter asking they, or a deadline of that, say, now we consider your application to pass. Oh, wow, that's
5 or 6.
Yeah. And they said they're going forward.
5 or 6.
Are you good with who you're going to send them to? Or do you want us to go through that?
Yeah, we can work in and get that list, sure.
provided.
That works. Any other questions or comments from any of the team?
Yeah, I had a couple for Steve.
Go ahead, Steve.
Yeah, right. Steve, I was just curious, I've been gone so long, I'm, uninformed about a lot of things. I was just curious on the latest on Dave's Hot Chicken, for example.
Mm-hmm.
That's progressing along.
Yeah, they have a building permit and they've started to do their alterations and renovations to the building. Yeah, we're just waiting for a new sewer lateral connection and the DOT is holding us up on a work permit a little bit. It's been
I
taking a
saw they
little while.
started the
Yeah.
the work on the outside.
On a side note, I was out in Colorado and I ran across the Dave's Hot Chicken.
Did you try
I
some?
had to go buy one.
Yeah.
And it's similar to Chick-fil-A,
Okay.
that idea. How about the one up on 31 in Lake Shore? Convenient Mart on Triangle there.
They haven't opened yet.
I see there's so
Yeah.
nothing going on.
No,
It's been some time.
it has.
Okay.
They have not moved in.
But at least they fought really hard to keep that window,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
At least they have that.
I think they're getting closer to moving in from what I understand, but from the landlord, but they haven't occupied the building yet.
Okay.
We got a sign.
Yeah.
Thank you.
The windows haven't even been cleaned yet.
Yeah.
I don't think.
You can see lighting inside in the evenings and they just little signs of one-stop shop or something like that.
Yeah.
So I think they're getting closer to move in.
Somebody else? We have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second?